Hi everyone, today you're going to be studying nets of prisms, and we've been working with nets for a while. Sometimes when we're younger we cut them out of paper and fold them up, and that's how we can make a prism or a pyramid. So nets are actually made out of the faces of a prism or a pyramid and then kind of attached together so that it can be folded. So I'll give you an example here. I'll start with the cube. So the cube we can see is made out of squares. And if we were to create a net for that cube, then it would look something like this. So all the flat faces are together, all connected together so that they are able to fold up and create your 3D solid. So your nets can look different. So for example, right now when I hold out the net for that cube, I've got my two bases here, and I just want you to know that these two bases can actually be anywhere along this stretch here. So if this square here was there or there or there, it would still be fine. But the number one thing you're going to look for when you're identifying where the position of the base should be is you want to make sure that they are on opposite sides like this. You could not have this base up here next to this one along the same row. They need to be opposite from each other in relation to all the rectangles that connect them. In this case, all the squares that connect them. So be careful when you're drawing and identifying prisms. You really want to make sure that those two bases are on opposite sides. But as I said, they can be anywhere along here. All right, so that's the cube. So the hexagonal prism looks like this, and then its neck looks like this. So I want you to recognize all those rectangles in there. We talked about prisms having two bases that are the same, and that's where we get the name from. And then those two bases are connected by rectangles, and they're opposite each other when we fold that up. They're opposite each other. All right. A pyramid looks a little different. Now you're going to be focusing mainly on prisms today, but I will show you what a net for a pyramid looks like. So a net for a pyramid would look something like this, where the base is in the middle and then the triangles are surrounding that base so that then they can fold up and form that apex there. Okay, so nets for pyramids look a little different than nets for prisms that are all connected with rectangles. This one has the base in the middle and the triangles surrounding it. All right, so I'm just going to take these down for a minute, and I'm going to work with this one here. Now, hopefully you will have recognized that this is the triangular prism. All right, it has two triangles for the bases connected by rectangles. So if I was going to draw this net, what I would want to do is start with the rectangles. All right, and I want to make three. So in my head, I'm thinking about what are the faces that I need. So I know for the triangular prism, I need three rectangles. I know that because there are three edges around the triangles, which means that there's a rectangle coming from each edge. So I know I'm going to need three rectangles. And then my two triangles, I can put one anywhere along here and one anywhere along here. So I'm going to go ahead and put them here like this. Okay. However, like I said, this one can kind of be anywhere as long as they're opposite each other. This would still work. All right. So I'm going to move that back there for now. So they can be anywhere along here as long as they are opposite each other. Okay, I'm just going to show you what it looks like in case they try and trick you. Okay, you can imagine that if I folded that this side would not have a base on it. So that is why they cannot be on the same side. They've got to be opposite. All right, there we go. I'm going to put it back. So that would be what my net for my triangular prism would look like. All right, I'm going to go up to my board here. Okay. You're going to be working with nets and models of now different kinds of prisms that have some different shapes of bases that may not be that familiar to you. Now, they're going to encourage you to use models, so using toothpicks and clay or marshmallows and build them. If you don't have those materials, you can use a drawing to help you. So I'm going to show you how that works. So first I'll show you the net for this. So a trapezoid based prism means that you have bases that look like this, maybe. We recognize the trapezoid as our red pattern block shape from class. All right, and if I was going to draw a net, I would start with 4 rectangles, okay, and then I'd kind of make my trapezoid shapes on the ends for my bases. Now, I want to show you how to actually draw the model instead of the net now, because that could help you when you're doing your questions if you don't actually build them out of clay or marshmallows. This is following the same strategy that you used when you were drawing rectangular prisms on your grid. Okay, they told you to kind of draw them a little far apart here and then just connect your corners. Okay, this one didn't turn out that great. I should have maybe... Okay, now, there we go. Okay, I'm going to start this again. Sorry, everyone. All right, so sometimes that happens. Start with your bases. Okay, and try and connect vertice to vertice here. Matching vertices, and then you should get your trapezoid based prism, and then from here you can be counting vertices and edges and faces and being able to see them all there. But you can also think of a net for faces as well. Okay, your pentagon based prism, you're going to, if I were to do my net, I know I need 5 rectangles. Okay, and I'm going to just put my pentagons here. So just do your best with your sketches. I know that it's kind of tricky, and like me, you might have to start over again and try again. That's just kind of how it goes. Okay, so again, if I'm going to draw a model to help me, I'm going to draw my bases first. So when I drew my net, I drew my rectangles first, and then I added the bases. So, but when I draw a model, I want to draw my bases first, and then when I do my connections, I should kind of get the... Okay, again, see, Mrs. Nandu has to do it again. So be patient with yourself when you draw your models, because they are not easy. All right, now let's try this again. So these are kind of tricky because I'm trying not to make my lines overlap, but we'll see here. So there we go. We'll just stick with that one. All right, so then there's my model, and then from there I should be able to count my vertices. And if you use some of those math equations I gave you earlier, then that will also be a good way to know your numbers and then check with your models to make sure. All right, so that is a little bit of information on nets and models. Can be a little bit tricky to draw, but just do your best. And when you're identifying, really make sure that those bases are opposite each other. Have fun today.